Hi and welcome to beautiful Bratislava, Slovakia's charming capital. Slovakia is a beautiful country in Europe, and while it may not be on everyone's travel map just yet, I'm convinced that this will change in the future. Why visit Slovakia? Well, there's just too much to see and do here to not make it part of your travel bucket list. The nature is spectacular, the food excellent, and the country is full of interesting history with its beautiful castles, churches, and historic villages. Best of all, the country is still an affordable travel destination and one of the 7 least expensive countries in the European Union. It thus allows for affordable travel in Europe, is truly a safe country in Eastern Europe, and a European country with less tourists. With this video on the best of Bratislava city, I'm kicking off my small mini-series of Slovakia travel videos on my trip to Slovakia. In this series, I will show you the best of Slovakia. So let's get to know Slovakia together. Bratislava may be one of the most underrated capital cities in Europe. With about 1 million tourists per year, it receives much less tourists than, for example, its neighbors Prague and Vienna. And I'm still wondering why, as it is absolutely beautiful, with its grand civic architecture, charming cobble streets, lovely cafes and restaurants, and amazing views of the river Danube. I definitely appreciated the fact that I didn't have to stay in line for hours to be able to visit the many touristic highlights and historic landmarks. My recommendation is to go visit Bratislava while that is still the case. Bratislava is a very compact city, and everything is pretty much in walking distance. This makes Bratislava one of the most walkable capitals of the world. Its geographic location is also quite unique. Bratislava rubs shoulders with both Austria and Hungary. The Austrian capital of Vienna is only 16 kilometers away, and you can visit Bratislava even on a day tour from Austria. This also makes Slovakia a quick, easy and intriguing stop on any European tour. There even used to be the world's shortest international flight between Vienna and Bratislava. It only took 10 minutes, but has been discontinued since for very obvious reasons. With a population of 440,000, Bratislava is by far the largest city in Slovakia. It is also the political, cultural and economic center of the country. You will find several universities and many museums, theaters, galleries and other cultural institutions here, some of which we will explore in this video. There are so many things to do and see in Bratislava that this travel video will likely not do it justice. But here are my favorite 20 places to see in Bratislava. Stick around until the very end of the video for some additional tips on how to best visit Bratislava. But let's get started with my travel video tour of the very best things to do in Bratislava, which will introduce you to the sites, history, buildings and museums of Slovakia's capital city. Number 1. The Old Town. My first tip for Bratislava is of course Stare Mesto, the old town of Bratislava, which is a natural starting point for any visit of Slovakia's capital city. It really whisks one back a few centuries with its medieval charm and beautiful Baroque architecture. The cobblestone streets and pretty pastel houses of Bratislava's old town exude old world charm and invite visitors to relax on one of the many park benches. Alternatively, why not visit one of the cafes and marvel at the many tiny details of the historic buildings while taking in the delicious smells from the many bakeries and pastry shops, or enjoy a nice coffee and a glass of kofala, the region's very own cola which dates back to Czechoslovakian times. Number 2. Hviezdoslav Square. A great place to start your excursion of Bratislava's old town is Hviezdoslavovo Namestie, or slightly less of a tongue breaker, Hviezdoslav Square in English. The square is named after Pavel Orzak Hviezdoslav, a turn-of-the-century Slovak poet and dramatist who also made a lasting contribution to Slovak culture by translating works of Schiller, Shakespeare and Goethe. You can find a large statue showing him halfway along the boulevard. Hviezdoslav Square is a broad tree-lined pedestrian boulevard that leads from the shores of the Danube all the way to the historic Slovak National Theatre. Along the way, you will find plenty of ice cream parlors, cafes and restaurants, water fountains and podiums that often feature concerts and other cultural events. The promenade is lined by exuberant mansions and townhouses, many of which house embassies. In December, the square is home to Bratislava's famous Christmas market. In the summer, get some ice cream and check out the larger-than-life statue of the Danish 19th century writer and poet Hans Christian Andersen, who authored many well-known children's fairy tales such as The Ugly Duckling, The Snow Queen and Little Mermaid. The statue depicts him with references to the characters of his stories, some of which have reportedly been conceived while he visited Bratislava. Number 3. Bratislava's Old Town Hall. Let's make our way to Hlavne Namestie, a large beautiful square which boasts the Old Town Hall, one of Bratislava's most venerable landmarks. This building is actually a collection of buildings that came together in the 1200s when the Romanesque house that belonged to the mayor was acquired by the city, which subsequently bought off and annexed many neighboring buildings. Now it has become an interesting mix of 4 different houses and palaces with a beautiful Renaissance courtyard, which dates back to 1581. The most visible feature of the building complex is its main tower, which was designed in the Tuscan Gothic style in the 1200s and houses a branch of the city museum that deals with feudal justice and medieval Pressburg. Number 4. Primate's Palace. Right next to the Old Town Hall, you will find Primate's Palace, a pink imperious neoclassical style palace that was constructed in the 1770s for the Archbishop of Esztergom. The palace may be best known for a momentous event in December 1805 when the Treaty of Pressburg was signed, sealing Napoleon's victory over the Third Coalition. This famous peace treaty was signed in the Hall of Mirrors, a sequence of 5 salons, each named after a different color of its decor. Today you can experience the historical grandeur of the palace by checking out the beautiful fountain with the statue of St. George slaying the dragon. For an entrance fee, you can also visit the second floor, where you'll see tapestries from the 17th century, several old paintings, period furniture in every room, and of course the stunning Hall of Mirrors. Until 1996, Primate's Palace was also the president's residence, which was since moved to a different palace, which we will cover later in our Bratislava tour. Number 5. Maximilian's Fountain. Back on the main square is another one of Bratislava's most prized monuments and meeting places, Maximilian's Fountain. The fountain lies opposite the Old Town Hall and was initially commissioned by the King of Hungary, Maximilian II, in 1572 as a water supply for Pressburg citizens. It features a column in the middle, which is crested by a statue of the knight in battle armor. Some people believe it shows Roland, the mythical defender of Pressburg's rights, and others are convinced it's Maximilian himself. According to an urban legend, every New Year at the stroke of midnight, the statue turns to face the Old Town Hall and bows to honor 12 councillors who died defending the city. Number 6. Sculptures of Bratislava. While walking the Old Town, make sure to pay attention to the many beautiful and some also funny statues in unexpected places. The most photographed of these statues is Kumel, at the junction of Larinska and Panska streets. Kumel is a cheeky-looking sewer worker poking out of a manhole with his chin resting on his arms. In the main square beneath the Old Town Hall, there's a friendly Napoleonic soldier leaning over a bench, making for another must-have picture and great souvenir from Bratislava. On the opposite side of the square, you will find a statue of Ignaz Lamar, a Pressburg citizen who lived in the 19th century and who is said to have lost his mind because of an unrequited love. Number 7. The Coronation Trail. When you walk through the old town of Bratislava, you will notice that the streets are littered with tiny little golden crowns, also known as the Coronation Trail. The The story of this trail dates back to the days of Mongol and Ottoman invasion in neighboring countries, and the Hungarian royals moved their kings to Bratislava to keep them safe. The Coronation Trail marks the route that the kings would have walked in the 16th century during the coronation process. Today, it also makes for a good sightseeing route through Bratislava's old town. Number 8. St. Martin's Cathedral. Speaking of coronation, St. Martin's Cathedral was the coronation site and legislative center and capital of the Kingdom of Hungary from 1536 to 1783. Here, 11 Hungarian kings and 8 queens were crowned. The cathedral's role as a coronation church is honored by a gold-plated reproduction of the crown of St. Stephen at the top of the tower. The 15th century Gothic cathedral lies on the west side of the old town, merging with the city walls, which gave it a secondary role as a bastion. Inside, the nave is in 3 aisles, divided by bulky Gothic columns and leading to an ensemble of statues portraying St. Michael as a Hungarian hussar. Number 9. Michael's Gate. From St. Martin's Cathedral, let's make our way back to the old town towards Michaelska Street, a beautiful medieval-looking street which is home to many shops, restaurants and cafes. At the end of Michaelska, you will find the iconic Michael's Gate, yet another must-have picture of Bratislava. Michael's Gate is 51 meters high and dates back to the very start of the 14th century. It took on its current Baroque appearance after a remodel in 1759. This was when the dome was installed, as well as the tip of the spire with St. Michael fighting the dragon. The tower houses a branch of the Bratislava City Museum, with an exhibition about old fortifications and medieval weaponry. Number 10. Grassalkovich Palace, the President's Palace. From St. Michael's Gate, it is a very short walk across Hviezdoslav Square to Grassalkovich Palace. Commissioned in 1760 by Count Anton Grassalkovich, who was the chairman of Hungary's royal chamber and had the ear of Empress Maria Theresa, the sublime Rococo Palace serves nowadays as the official residence of the Slovak president. It is therefore not open to the public, but you can get quite close to it and stop for a photo in front of the modern fountain. Behind the palace, the formal gardens are now a beautiful public park, which is also open to the public. Here you will find a horseback statue of Empress Maria Theresa and lawns with colorful flower beads. Number 11. Slavín War Memorial. Let's head to the best view of Bratislava. From the President's Palace, continue a somewhat steep walk up the highest hill of Bratislava, which presents an upmarket quarter of the city with fancy mansions and embassies. Arriving at the top, you will get to Slavín War Memorial, a 39-meter pylon topped with a statue of a Soviet soldier, which commemorates the Soviet troops killed while liberating Bratislava in 1945. The monument was unveiled in 1960 during the communist era of Slovakia and lies behind 6 mass graves, holding the remains of over 6,800 Soviet soldiers. While being an important reminder of the tragic historic events, the terrace below the memorial also offers some of the most stunning views of the Bratislava skyline. Number 12. Bratislava Castle. After these amazing views, prepare yourself for yet another highlight of Bratislava, Bratislava Hrad or Bratislava Castle. This elegant white castle with its iconic red roof lies on a site that has been fortified for thousands of years. As a defendable stronghold and lookout, the castle was unmatched as it rested between the Alps and Carpathians right above the Danube. You can't miss this important landmark of the city of Bratislava, and its location on a hill ensures that it is ever present to visitors as they make their way through the historic old town. It's just a 15-minute walk to the top of the hill, which will now feel like a piece of cake after you've made it up to Slavín Memorial. From here, you will have amazing views over the Danube and down to the city with its iconic St. Martin's Cathedral just below. Come on a clear day and you will be able to have a view far across the borders into Austria and Hungary. Up close to Bratislava Castle, you will notice its immaculate appearance, which gives away its more recent renovation in the 50s and 60s. The original castle was actually in ruins for much of the 19th and 20th centuries and has since been brought back to its full glory. Back in the 1500s, it was the seat of the kings of Royal Hungary, housing the Hungarian crown jewels for the next 200 years. Today, Bratislava Castle houses a museum of history covering Slovakian history from the Middle Ages to the present day. You can also stroll through the Baroque gardens on the rear of the castle or just take a break under the shades of the large trees in the adjacent park. Number 13. Gallery Multium Museum. On the way back down from the castle, you will come across a small but fun museum with 6 rooms, each tricking you with different optical illusions. Unusual effects of mirrors and light make each room a small adventure. An adult ticket costs around €5 and it's worth seeing. The entire visit should not take more than 20 minutes or so.
Pretty cool here.
Number 14. The Blue Church. On the eastern side of the Old Town, you will find another iconic landmark of Bratislava, the Art Nouveau style St. Elizabeth's Church, better known as Blue Church. It is located just east of the Old Town in Bezrušova Street. The church was raised in the 1910s as a chapel for the Gamča Gymnasium, a grammar school, but has gone on to become a symbol for Slovakia. The architect in charge was Erden Lechner, a pioneer of Hungarian secessionism and often referred to as the Hungarian Gaudi. He conceived the church with a unique blend of Romanesque, Baroque and Oriental designs, and rich stucco moldings, painted white and pale blue and roofed with glazed blue tiles. Number 15. The UFO Bridge Most SNP. Moving ahead just about 60 years to the year 1972, we will now have a look at a rather futuristic-looking landmark, the Most SNP, the bridge of the Slovak national uprising. The iconic bridge is a spectacular relic from the Soviet period and cannot be missed as it is a fixed point in Bratislava's skyline. It is topped by an UFO-like disc which thrones the Danube at about 95 meters. The bridge holds the record as the world's longest cable-stayed bridge to have only one pylon and a single set of cables. You can go up to the observation desk using an elevator or book a table at the trendy restaurant inside the UFO. Number 16. Danube Promenade. From the UFO bridge, head east along the Danube on the picturesque Danube Promenade. Here you will pass tour boats, restaurants, cafes, ice cream stands, and even a small beach area. It makes for a great place to stroll during any time of the day, but my favorite times were early mornings and during the late afternoons where the promenade really comes to life.
So I'm here directly at the Danube, and as you can see, there's even a small beach area here where people relax in the evening or during the day. Really beautiful.
Number 17. Eurovea and Opera. Heading further down the Danube, you will arrive at the posh and shiny new quarter called Eurovea. Eurovea is a large mixed-use development combining homes, hotels, shopping and entertainment. The Eurovea Gallery Mall houses a casino, cinema, pool and gym. If you fancy some big brand shopping, you will appreciate the choice of mid-market and luxury brands and retail stores like H&M, Lacoste, Guess, Armani, Marks & Spencer, Adidas and Mango. The prices will likely be more affordable than in neighboring Vienna. Behind the mall lies the new Bratislava Opera, which is illuminated colorfully during the night. On the other side, plenty of nice cafes and restaurants offer great views on the Danube. Number 18. Danubiana Meulensteen Art Museum. For this tip, we have to head a bit outside the city, towards the Hungarian border. Continuing along the Danube, you will find a contemporary art museum with a fantastic location at the tip of a long peninsula in the middle of the Danube. One of the more recent developments in Bratislava, it was fully complete in 2014. The permanent exhibition features an international assortment of paintings and installations of the likes of St. Francis, Christo and Warhol. The latter has its roots in Slovakia, as its parents came from northeastern Slovakia. As a result, Slovakia is now the surprising home of the world's second largest collection of Andy Warhol's work after Pittsburgh in the United States. The museum architecture blends perfectly with the landscape, and the large windows offer spectacular views of the Danube. Equally impressive are the museum gardens, landscaped with an eclectic sculpture park.
So when you come to Bratislava, you have to come to the Danubiana Museum. It's really beautiful, amazing location, and I love the architecture. If you're a fan of modern art, it's a must-see, I would say, and definitely worth coming.
If you still fancy more modern art, head up to the museum roof for more sculptures and great views. The drive to the museum takes about 25 minutes by car. Bus number 90 will take you there in a bit less than an hour. Number 19. Hrad Devin, Devin's Castle. Around 10 kilometers, roughly 6 miles in the other direction of the Danube, west of the city center, you will reach Devin Castle. This is another must-see landmark and I highly recommend you check it out. Devin Castle, or Hrad Devin as the Slovaks call it, is a ruin perched on a 212 meter or 700 feet high cliff that sits right at the point where the Danube and Morava rivers meet. In its heyday, This impressive stronghold controlled the trade route on the Danube, with traces going back to the 5th century BC. This makes it one of Slovakia's 3 oldest castles. That in itself is impressive in a country that has the world's highest number of castles and chateaux per capita, with a total of 180 castles and 425 chateaux in a relatively small country. The castle's tumultuous story is told by information boards and an exhibition inside the caves in the upper enclosure, where you can learn about the castle's death blow, which came with an assault by Napoleon's troops in 1809. It has been a scenic ruin ever since, but still offers amazing views down to the Danube and Orava rivers, and across to Austria. During the summer months, you can take a boat cruise down the Danube River to Devin Castle. If you are lucky, you can visit during the annual Medieval Nights show, which is supposedly really fun too.
So when you're in Bratislava, definitely check out Devin Castle. It's absolutely worth it. It's a ruin, but pretty well maintained, and the view is spectacular.
Number 20. Flagship Restaurant. With so much sightseeing, why not end the day with an amazing dinner at one of Bratislava's many excellent restaurants? My choice was the famous Flagship Restaurant, which claims to be one of Europe's largest restaurants. While I cannot verify this claim, it certainly is a great dinner location with several rooms and a central hall that uses a former theater. The food is excellent, and what better than finish off with a nice meal and a bottle of kofola. Now let's have a look at some practical tips for your Bratislava visit. How do you get to Bratislava? Bratislava Airport, BTS, can be reached from the city center in 15 to 20 minutes. A number of budget and charter airlines offer direct services to BTS. From the airport, you can take a taxi into the city center. Alternatively, if you travel on a budget, take bus number 61 to the main train station. From there, you can walk to the city center in about 15 minutes, or take bus number 93 and exit at Hviezdoslav Namestie, or tram number 1 and exit at Namestie SNP. Bus tickets are available from ticket machines at bus stops or in kiosks. The tickets, which cost around €1, must be validated in the buses. Most larger airlines will however fly to the airport at Vienna Schwecha, which is only 40 kilometers west of Bratislava, and Slovaks mainly use it for long-haul flights. Buses to Bratislava depart at 30 to 60-minute intervals, and tickets can be bought on the bus. If you come by train, Bratislava connects to the main lines from Prague, Budapest, Vienna and various regions in Slovakia. Bratislava's main station is well connected to the rest of the city via trams, buses or trolleybuses, and you can get to the old town on foot in only 15 minutes. Bratislava is also conveniently connected with many European cities via a network of bus lines, and you can even take a fast catamaran twin city liner from Vienna on the Danube. Lastly, if you decide to come by car, Bratislava is situated at the intersection of several important motorways. The distance to Prague is 330 kilometers, Budapest is 200 kilometers away, and Vienna is 65 kilometers away. If you are bringing your own car, you need to display a valid motorway tax sticker, which is available at borders or petrol stations and costs around €10 for 10 days. Can you get by with English? Slovakian is a difficult language, but luckily one can easily get by with English almost everywhere. More than a quarter of Slovaks speak English, and you can get around with English in Slovakia just fine. What should I bring? Well, your travel gear depends on the time of the year of your visit and what else you plan to do in Slovakia. Generally, I would recommend solid hiking shoes or at least good sneakers, especially if you plan to do lots of walking. It is useful to carry a light rain poncho or jacket as the weather can be somewhat unpredictable. The climate is mild, with a summer average of 25 to 27 degrees Celsius, which is in the high 70s Fahrenheit. In the winter, that can go down to 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Bring some sunscreen in the summer, and I always carry a cap and a pair of sunglasses. Can I pay with credit card? Luckily, credit cards are widely accepted in Bratislava and most major tourist sites throughout Slovakia. But I would nevertheless carry a few euros for smaller vendors and shops or for street food spots. How is public transport? Nearly all sites and main monuments in Bratislava can be reached on foot, but should you still be in need of transport, you are in luck. Bratislava has built a good public transport line system of buses, trams and trolleys. Timetables are available both for Android and iOS. The transport system is known as Metská hromadná doprava, which stands for Municipal Mass Transit, and is the largest in Slovakia. Public transport in Bratislava is a paid service and travelers must buy their tickets before entering the vehicle. You cannot get tickets from the driver. So-called tourist tickets are available with validity of 24 hours, 48 hours, and 72 hours, and 168 hours. Tickets can be purchased at ticket machines, DPB offices, and other pre-sale points such as hotel or tourist agencies, with prices ranging from €4.50 for 24-hour tickets to €15 for a one-week ticket. These tickets are issued on the same stock as single tickets and must be validated at the beginning of the first journey. Is Bratislava safe? Bratislava is a very safe city for travelers, with a low rate of violent crime. Like in any larger city, beware of pickpockets, which operate around the main tourist areas, the railway station and in large shopping malls. Foreigners tend to easily get identified and targeted. So with this, I wish you safe travels to Bratislava. I hope you enjoyed the Slovakia travel video on things to do in Bratislava. If you did, please also check out my other travel videos in beautiful Slovakia and many other amazing travel destinations. And leave me a like and a comment down below. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my channel and I look forward to seeing you in my next travel video. Have a good one.